And so what I'm going to show you today, and you might already know some of this because like you guys, we kind of self-taught ourselves how to make activities as well on SeeSaw. But with our math workbook pages, sometimes they can be very time consuming doing them whole group. And you can put them on SeeSaw. We've done that when we've had kids in quarantine so that if their parents couldn't come pick up their work, they could still be on the same lesson that we are. So what you're going to do first, and kind of piggybacking on what Danielle was telling you, I put a asterisk at the beginning of my class name so that even on my kids' iPads, because you know it shows all of them, it always pulls mine up to the top with my name and my icon. So that's always the first one they see if they were to leave the class setting. It's always going to be there. So to put your math workbook pages on SeeSaw, you would click the add button and assign activity. And if you already have access, or you might want to pull up your Discover HMH Ed one if you want to try to take some screenshots and do it with me. I'll show you how to do it first and then I'll give you a chance to try. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to come over here to create new activity. And it always asks you to name it first. So since I'm doing math, we're currently in Unit 4, Lesson 4 is the one that I need to do. And then it asks you to type instructions. And in the Google Drive document that we're going to share with you, I have the cheat sheet for the different codes you have to type in to make all the images show up. So I always do the :add for add response, and it'll pop up the icon for the students. And then I add dictation to mine, so I'll show you how to do that so that the students can listen to the directions since we're still learning how to read. So I say play, or press the play button to listen to the directions. Then the pencil, so that they'll use the pencil, complete each question. I always say do each page because most of the math book pages are about 4 pages. And then 5, check, cannot be capitalized, check, send me your work. And you probably already know this as well. You can add the voice instructions just by clicking on the microphone. And I usually pretty much read what's there. Unit 4, Lesson 4, 1, tap the green add response button. 2, press the play button to listen to the directions. 3, tap the pencil tool, complete each question. 4, do each page. 5, tap the green check and send me your work. And always, if you don't like it, you can always put it in the trash can and re-record if you need to. And then you come down here to the add template for student responses, which you might be familiar with already, and select the drawing, because that gives you the creative canvas where you'll be able to drag and drop. Now this is something that I've kind of learned saves time because it is time consuming to make your activities virtual. If you are already in your lesson that you're working on and you're quick, you can just slide it right in and then you don't have to look for the little bitty images. So I always go to the student edition so it looks exactly like what we're doing in the classroom. And then where it says more, I always say 1 page at a time. So for example, what I would do is I'm going to do the Shift Command 4 and screenshot my page. And then there's a little bit of time where you can go from Creative Canvas and just slide it right over. And it saves just a little bit of time so you don't have to look for it. And then add a page, go back to your lesson, grab the next page, and keep going until you have finished all of the 4 pages. Just slide in.
Can you show us how to add the last page if you don't go fast enough?
Yes, I can. And it kind of depends on how your computer's set up, but yes. So this is the last page for this one. So then if I wanted to do my pictures first and that's gone, you're going to come to the 3 dots over here and you're going to you're going to go to the camera, not the 3 dots. The camera and upload from your, mine's usually in my desktop, or if you go to your recents, it'll be there, and you click on that and open, and it'll put it in for you. So, which is also another option. And then what I like to do is I like to hit those 3 dots on each page and lock my pages in place. I'm not sure about your kids. My kids often resize every object that there is, and they now have a new one where if you're having them drag objects, you can lock all, or you can lock just their size so that they don't make things big and small, which is very aggravating, especially for our kids. They get really upset if something happens to their picture, and we have to help them problem solve to get it back. So I lock them all, and then I like to add a background just to make it look a little bit nicer, and usually I try to go with one of the colors that goes with our curriculum. So I usually do orange or maybe a blue or green, and I add it just so that all the pages look consistent. You can change the colors if you want, like first, if you want to color code it that way. That would probably be helpful as well. Okay, so now that I have everything looking the way I want that way, I'm going to add my dictation. And this page, there's only one thing for me to read, but as it gets closer to the back, sometimes there's more than one, and it can be a little bit trickier when you're adding multiple ones. There is an option to add your voice this way. You have to unlock it, but I prefer to do it this way so that I can shrink it so all the kid sees is the play button instead of the big picture. Classify, count, and sort by count. And then I listen to the story, draw the crayons to represent the story. Count how many crayons there are in each category. Sort the categories by count. Lincoln has 5 crayons in 3 different colors. How can Lincoln classify the crayons? How many crayons are in each category? How can Lincoln sort the crayons by count? So then I always pause it and then done. And then it makes it like a big image on top of my other image, and the kids can't really write on that. So what I like to do is I like to grab the corner and shrink it so that all they see is the play button. And then I take that and I drag it and put it beside the number of the problem so that they can see which one they need to press. And then I lock it in place so that they can't move that around. And then I do the same thing on each page where you would record and do that. I want to try to go to, I'm going to show you what it would look like if there were 2 on this page. For example, if I did my recording for this page, and I'm really just making this one up, count the blue shapes on the top row. How many shapes are there? Write the number. Stop. Done. And then I'm going to shrink it and put it by the first question. And sometimes it flips it around. And then I would put it over here. I usually try to get rid of all the other color and lock it. And say this next one has a different question. I would read it the same way. It's going to ask you to start new recording. Count the number of squares, circles, and triangles. Record the number. Then draw the shapes beside the numbers. Done. And just like I did before, I'm going to shrink it, and then I would put it by the second question. Because some of the pages, especially like the review sheets, have multiple questions on a page, and then that way they can listen to each question individually, and they don't have to remember what was already said. And you would do that on each page. When you're done, you hit the green check mark, which attaches your template to your activity, and from here you can save it. You can assign you can always edit students. You can assign it a folder at the beginning by clicking on folder. This is math. I'm going to send that to the math folder, and then when I assign it to my class, it would already be in that folder. They don't even need to know about it. And then I can also schedule it. So if there are kids that are in quarantine, you can schedule it ahead of time if you have them, and you know they're going to be out for a certain number of days. You can just schedule that to come out, and like before, you can also edit and select certain students as well. And then if you want to share it with your colleagues and you may be familiar with this, you can always share activity and then select the teachers you want to share with, and it'll send it to them. Usually when we make activities virtual in kindergarten, one person might make a certain subject and then share it with everybody else. So I was thinking if you would like to, I can kind of do it a little slower. If you want to find an activity that maybe you're going to be using in the next week or two, if you have any kids that are virtual, how to make it in SeeSaw, I'm happy to help and kind of walk you through it if you would like. Okay, no. Do you have any questions? No, not really. And I'm sure you already know, when you make other activities using PDFs and things you have on your computer, you do it very similar to this way. And we have those tutorials on the Google Drive for you as well. Now, are there any other things in SeeSaw that you would like to know that we could maybe answer today for you? I know there were a couple other things in our survey. We tried to go with the things that got the most answers to pick for the session today. Okay. And then we,
I guess I have one thing. You said
Yes.
when you were, so when you're putting on, creating an activity and the directions and the icons, where did you say you get the icons from, the little picture symbols?
oh, there's a SeeSaw cheat sheet. Here, I can show you. It's in my, we created a SeeSaw tutorial Google Drive folder. And honestly, in the past, I usually go and type it in Google and say SeeSaw cheat codes.
Okay.
But we have it in a folder for you where you can find it.
And we're gonna share that folder.
Yeah, we're going to share that with you.
Okay, great. Thank
So,
you.
for example, in here, you would just go down to the SeeSaw cheat sheet JPEG, and it tells you what to do for any of the icons that you may need them to do. Because a lot of times we'll ask them to record themselves doing it as well, so we always have that in there.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And we also have a little kind of like a, what do you call it, exit slip, and it's just a little quick 3-question form, just so you can give us feedback on how we did or what else you would like to learn. And I will send that link to you, which will also give you the link for the all the other information we have in our